Hello, hi everyone, welcome back to a new video. In this video, we will be discussing the TCS NQT 2027 17th June on campus exam coding questions. So, before actually discussing these coding questions, the first question straight away came from the same video that I have posted. You can clearly see the question here. You can see the repeating number and missing number. We will be discussing this question again. You can see the repeating number question and also the missing number. Both were discussed in this as separate questions. He just combined both the questions and he asked it is a very standard problem. So let's discuss that question first. And the two questions were very simple in the 17th June as per my opinion. So let's with no further ado, let's discuss the questions first. No, first question, find the missing number and duplicate number. So the problem statement is something like we would be given an array. Okay, we would be given an array of size and array will be given. So it would be having elements from 0 to n minus 1. Okay, from 0 to n minus 1, and from 0 to n minus 1 we would be having our elements. So if the elements are from 0 to n minus 1, let's say your size of the array is something, let's example your size of array is 4 and the elements are from 0 to 1. So let's say 1, 2 and 1 and not 1, 2 and 0. Let's say this is your array 1, 2, 2, 0. Now here 2 is that element that is duplicate, and you can see that 3 is not available. So you would be having elements from 0 to n minus 1. What is 0 to n minus 1? N is 4. So 0 to 3 elements should be there. But here you are missing the 3 element. So the missing number would be 3 and the duplicate number would be 2. You need to just print them. This can be easily done using a frequency map or another map. You can take a map or a frequency table and you can easily solve this question. So let's write the code for this and understand. So the exact same question was already discussed. So I still recommend everyone to go through this whole video. And there is also one important announcement that I want to make, that every 2 days from Monday, Wednesday and Friday you would be getting one shot video of every data structure from tomorrow. So I have already recorded and given the array data structures complete one shot video where I have discussed 10 most important patterns of arrays that we would be discussed. So I have discussed 10 important patterns of arrays. Every now Monday you are getting arrays, Wednesday you will be getting strings, again on the other day you will be. So we will be discussing every data structure for 2027 TCS NQT specific only. We are doing this whole series and it is free of cost. There is no charges for this. So we will be following the whole playlist, and I recommend you to go to all the playlist and you can compare the level of questions, the level of teaching. You will understand where is the quality. So you can definitely check out that video on Monday. The video will be posted on Monday. So now let's discuss this question first. uh, so let's write the boilerplate code first. C++.h, and we'll be writing using namespace std. Firstly we want the size of the array as input. So this is done. Then we want an array, so it would be simply a vector of v of n. Let's take the vector as input for I and I equal to 0, I less than n, I less than n, and I plus plus c v of I. Now let's take a frequency table only. It would be frequency map, so it would be simply frequency array of n sized with default values as 0. Okay, now no, not that. So now I will just iterate in my original array and put those elements into my frequency table. I will just do frequency of it plus plus. Now I will just iterate over my frequency array and I will just check if my no, we can't iterate like this because we want the index 2. So first let's write int missing is equal to -1 and the duplicate is equal to -1. Now don't start commenting on the video like why are you taking -1. -1 can be also input. No, there were only non-negative numbers, there were only positive numbers only. We can take -1. There is no nothing wrong in this. Now let's iterate over my frequency table. Now I will just check if my frequency of I, if my frequency of I is equal to 0, then the corresponding index is the missing number, right? The missing number would be simply the ith index. Or else, if your frequency of I is greater than 1, or if your frequency of I is equal to 2, then this is your duplicate will be I. At last you can simply print the missing and also the duplicate. Let's take one sample test case and let's see if we are getting the correct answer or not. There is some duplicate, it would be duplicate. Now let's run the code. uh, let's say the size of the array, let it compile. So let's say the size of the array is 4, and let's take 0 1 2 and 2. Here the missing number is 3 and the duplicate is 2. You can see the missing number is 3 and the duplicate is 2. This was a simple question that was asked in the first question as it is. So let's remove this and let's discuss the second question. So second question is somewhat interesting, but it is also very easy. So it is a basically prime numbers concept. So the second question is sum of consecutive prime numbers. It is a problem statement. So what is given is given two integers s and n. So what it represents is s is the starting point and n is the number of initial or number of forward iterations from s. So you will understand. See, with an example, s represents the starting number, n represents the position of a prime number to be found after s. Find the nth prime number greater than s. Let this prime be p. Then the next two prime numbers immediately after p and compute the sum of three prime numbers. So if I give an example, you would be easily understanding it. Let's say your s is equal to first prime number. Let's say your s is equal to 11. Let's say s is equal to 11 and n is equal to 4. Now I need to find the next four prime numbers after 11. So it is 13 is one prime number, and you would be having 17, then also 19 and 23. Four prime numbers are computed. So this last fourth prime number which is there, that is 23. So let's say p is equal to 23 as per this. So I am writing p is as my 23. Now I need to find the next two prime numbers after p. So those are simply 25 is not, 27 is not, so 29 comma 31. So we need to just compute the sum. It would be 23 plus 29 plus 31. So the sum we need to return. This was a simple question that was asked. So let's quickly write the code for this. So we want what all we want. Let me remove all this. Okay, let me remove all this because it is very difficult to always go up and down. So we want s and n, we want s comma n as input. So it would be space separated. Uh, now I need to calculate n prime numbers ahead of s. So my starting point would be s plus 1. I will start from s plus 1. I less than or equal to, I will go up to the n, and I plus plus. I will just check if is prime of the corresponding element. If it is prime, then what else? If it is prime, then we'll take or not take. It is upon us. We can take this or not. We generally don't want to calculate this also. If it is prime, okay, no problem. So let me 1 second. We can't do like this. We are not computing everything, right? So let's take a counter. Let's counter is equal to 0. I'll start from not like this. While we'll take a while loop because we don't know the condition. While my counter is not equal to the n, I will do some iterations. Let's also take index. Int index would be simply s plus 1. We will be starting from s plus 1. Now if this if is prime of this index, if is prime of this index is true, then I will just do a counter plus plus because it is a valid prime number. I have got one prime number. So this function will this while loop will just calculate the count that if I have reached my nth prime number from the starting point or not. If you have find out that so you are currently at that nth prime number. So if you are at that current nth prime number, then you would be your index would be also there, right? You will always do index plus plus also. Here you will be do at every time you will be doing index plus plus. Now at last you need to do one index minus minus, because if you have went to the let's print for our convenience at last index what index is coming. Firstly let's do until here only. Now first let's write the bool is prime logic, because writing prime numbers logic is also required in time. Now how to check a prime number if it is a prime number or not? You can simply do for int I equal to 2, I will start from and I less than, I will not take that nth number, I less than n I plus plus, and if your n modulo I is equal to 0, then it is not a prime number, so you can return return false, or here you can do return true. There is optimized also, you can go up to square root of n. You can I'm writing a simple order of n, not log n or square root of n logic. I'm not writing simple order of n would work easily. So let's not go into more complications. I don't want to now write the square root of. I can just simply go square root of n. Nothing changes. Okay. Now let's see what index are we getting. Let's give the input. The code is not done yet. I'm just seeing what output are we getting. So here let's say my starting point I am saying 7, and I want 4 prime numbers ahead of 7. So I should get after 7 the first prime number is 11, then 13 you have, then 17 you have, 19 you have. So you need to print 19. Let's see, are we printing 19 or not? We are printing 9, we are printing 20. That's why I said we need to do one idx minus minus, so that we reach at the what we say, we reach at the p location. So now the p would be simply the idx, whatever idx here. Now I need to find 2 prime numbers ahead of p. So I would just do int counter equal to 0 again. No, counter is already defined, right? I will just do counter equal to 0, while my counter is not equal to 2. I will just do, I will again check if is prime, if is prime of my, if is prime of my what we say, if is prime of my let's say int I, let's declare int I as our what we say p plus 1. We'll start from p plus 1 obviously. If it is a prime, then I will just do counter plus plus, counter plus plus. Now we would be having the both prime numbers, but we want their values also. If it is prime, then let's say first prime is equal to -1, and the second prime is also -1. I will just store them. If e is prime of this is mine, so I got my first. Let's even nest this. If e is prime of I, if it is prime, so first I need to check if it is, if my still the first prime is -1, then the first prime would be simply the I. Else if the second is still -1, the second would be the I. Simple. And if every time we would be doing the counter plus plus if it is prime, we know that. And every time we would be also doing I plus plus. Now we will be having the first, second, we have stored them, and also we have the p value. At last we would be printing C out the p plus the first prime plus the second prime. I hope the problem was simple, but there were many nesting in this. I am directly solving now. I always come, just I will see the question, I will try to implement here, because even I did not know that we need to go this much nesting. I was just iterating over the question, that's all. So let's run and see if our output is correct. What is there? P is not declared. What is P not declared? This would be capital P, right? This would be capital. And okay, S is already declared, right? Let's say, let's rename this with capital, and this would be capital F. This was an easy problem to understand, but how do you store the first and second and also P? I was printing and understanding the question myself now. At last will be F and S. So let's run and let's see. First, let's do with okay. Let's do okay. Let's stop and first compute the answer first. Let's say S is equal to let's comment this first. S is equal to 7. Let's say 7 is my first prime number. I will start from here, and n is equal to 4. If my n is equal to 4, I need to compute 4 prime numbers from S. So the first prime number would be 11. Uh, 11, then we will be having 13, then we will be having 17 and 19. So 19 is my P. So P is equal to 19. After 19, I need to compute two prime numbers. So the first prime number would be 23. So F is equal to 23 I should get, and second prime would be 23. Then we will be having 29. The second prime is 29. So I just need to compute 19 plus 23 plus 29. So it would be 19 plus 23 plus 29. It is 71. So we need to get 71 as our output. Let's confirm it by running the code. So it is taking S and N as input, right? S is 7, and N is 4. Now we are perfectly getting 71 as our output. This was simple question. I started writing code now in this session only. We printed where our IDX was pointing, then how to calculate F and S was confusing. We have kept many if and else we've done, and in the first go we were successful to solve the 71. So I why I come with no solutions. I am not someone like, I see many people and I don't want to comment on them. See, people come, some PDF, whole solution would be written, just read. This is not any theoretical class. You will learn like writing code, how I analyze the edge cases, how would we do. This is not something like theory. It will not come by reading something. This is not any theoretical class or any English class. We are doing hands-on coding. If you do hands-on coding, then only you will be completing this. So these were the two questions. These were the two questions of this today's video. So I hope I was able to make you understand how did we solve this question, and we would be solving few other more questions in the next video. Until then, keep learning. Bye bye.